don't think there's any safari buses going anytime soon at the moment. So what I was thinking, how about we go on our own private safari tour? Let's go this way. Now stay seated. Don't want anyone falling over whilst the vehicle's moving. Now as we go through our first gate out on our safari route, keep your eyes peeled for the largest herbivore in North America. These are North American bison. Almost disappeared from the planet at one point. There was 50 million of them and they were hunted to the brink of extinction. But there was a change in thinking. People that were sent out there to hunt them said enough's enough. We can't do this anymore, they're disappearing. As a result, they became one of the very first animals we protected. And another really cool thing about bison is baby bison. Bison calves are orange, so you call a baby bison a pumpkin. Next up, our dromedary or one-humped camels. Now what's in their hump? Fat. A full hump can allow them to survive for about 3 months without food. So many cool things about camels. I mean, someone once described them as being put together with the leftover parts of other animals because they're such a unique shape, but perfectly adapted for living in areas with not much food, not much water. And that is one of the reasons why they have done so well in the Australian outback. So this animal here might look very familiar. However, it's not your regular farm horse. These are Mongolian wild horses. You can tell they're wild because they've got that mohawk. But Mongolian wild horses, at one point we thought they were extinct, all gone, completely disappeared from the planet, until they found a small population of them, which they're able to breed up, release out in the wild, and they've gone from extinct to critically endangered, and now just endangered, which is a huge success story for conservation efforts all around the world. So these are scimitar horned oryx. Unfortunately, they're extinct in the wild. So these ones here are part of a global insurance population, ensuring they don't disappear entirely from the planet. But today, we've actually got a new male that's been introduced to the group, and he's coming around. He's slightly darker than the rest of the mob. I reckon he's pretty excited to have been introduced to so many females here. So sometimes our antelope, they like to explore things in their enclosures, going from branches to chunks of hair that have fallen off other animals, and on occasion it gets stuck on their horns. It doesn't trouble them. They usually just strut around saying, hey, look at my hat. Who doesn't love a good hat? Next area we're going into is what we call our woodlands waterhole. And funnily enough, there's a waterhole in here. Coming up on the left, we have our male niala. This here is a new male on the scene, darker than the female. It's got that really dark brown coat. Female's reddish brown, strutting about. They do this really slow strut. It's sort of like them puffing their chest up. So we're just exiting woodlands and making our way to cross the river. But as we do that, we're actually passing through what we call a wildlife corridor. And these are becoming very important. As our populations increase, the areas where wildlife reside, national parks, reserves, they're becoming like islands. Islands in a sea of us. So having more and more wildlife corridors so animals can move around without having to come into contact with us is going to be a massive thing going into the future. But this river here, the Werribee River, it actually flows through our property, which we're pretty proud of. But Werribee is an indigenous word. It means backbone. And it actually makes the backbone of our zoo. One of our big things here is supporting conservation, not just here in Australia, but all around the world. And we are partnered with Rhino Fund Uganda. And in Uganda, they have a sanctuary called Ziwa Sanctuary. There's rangers who follow rhinos around 24/7, keeping them safe from poachers. They even work with the local community. The locals bring their cattle in, the cattle graze down the long grass, making it easier for rhinos to eat the short grass. And by doing that, they're all one big community. And because we support them, every person that comes to the zoo is part of that community as well. When I come up to some of our big gates, I hear people say, oh, it's just like Jurassic Park. I even hear some people start humming the song. Na, 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 na. One highlight of coming to Werribee Open Range Zoo is our giraffes. So here at Werribee Zoo, we've got 5 giraffes. We're actually part of the giraffe breeding program in Australia, but our 5 giraffes are all boys. That's right, we're a bachelor group. It means the other zoos do all the nitty gritty, and all the extra boys, they come here, they hang out together. They do this in the wild, so it's a great space for male giraffes to come hang out together, keep each other company, and enjoy the 83 acres we have for them on our savannah. As they walk past, notice their legs, both legs on either side of their body move at the same time. So left side, right side, left side, right side. You can imagine with such a short body and such long legs, you've got to do that, otherwise you're going to trip yourself up. And it could be quite a nasty faceplant if a giraffe fell over. That said, a lot of people think if a giraffe falls over, they can't get back up again. You'd go extinct pretty quickly if that was the case. They can, of course, get back up again. There have been times where I've seen one hoof slide out in a bit of mud, but the other 3 have caught it. So they can look amazingly graceful, and other times very uncoordinated. They are an amazing animal, an animal that you can sit there and watch for hours and hours on end. And they will do that to you as well. They can be very inquisitive. So these are eland. They are one of the largest antelope species on the planet. Now, being so large, they're not as fast as some of the smaller species, but they make up for that, just being so big. Now, when I say big, one of our animals here is closing in on the 900 kilogram mark, which is amazingly large. And to think that they can jump over 2 meters as well. If you think about that, that's like having a small car jump over your head with horns. Horns that can be as thick as your arm and as long as your arm. So this here is our oldest rhinoceros. This is Marque. And she's a grandmother. Her daughter and her granddaughter live in here with her. She sometimes likes to keep her own company, let the other 3 rhinos wander off on her. But you can see she's covered in mud, and she's been rolling around in this mud wallow here. The mud's really important to them. They use it as sunscreen, insect repellent, moisturizer. On really hot days, they sleep in the mud because it's, well, it's nice and cool. Some people pay a lot of money to go roll around in mud. It's just part of the rhino's daily life. So here's our dazzle of zebras. And we do have a youngster in here called Zari, but she's grown very quickly. When zebras are born, their legs are almost as long as their mums. So they can pretty much keep up with mum almost straight after birth. Now these are plains zebras. There's 3 types. There's mountain zebras, Grevy's zebras and plains zebras. And plains are pretty easy to tell apart from the others. They do have stripes, but their stripes are very thick. And they're also the only ones where the stripes go under the belly. So if the stripes are on the zebra's belly, it's a plains zebra. If they've got a white belly, then it's one of the other 2. Now why on earth does zebras have stripes? I'm going to leave you with that question to ponder yourselves. There's all sorts of theories for camouflage from lions, camouflage from flies, who knows? Marque's still covered in mud and sharpening her horn on a log at the moment. Rhino horn is actually made out of the same stuff that your fingernails and hair's made out of. But unfortunately, that is also what's threatening rhinos out in the wild. The reason why there is needed to be rangers watching them 24/7. And it's because some people believe rhino horn has all sorts of special powers, which it doesn't. I mean, one of them is said to cure headaches. When was the last time you chewed on your fingernails and got rid of a headache? It doesn't happen. That's why we're partnered with Rhino Fungiganda, trying to protect rhinos on the other side of the planet. But it's great to see them enjoying the area that they live in. All this space means that they can move around. And it also means there's lots of other things to interact with. Hills, logs, trees, other animals. So even having just a simple log can be entertaining for some animals. As we watch Marco scratching her head, even scratching her belly just before. I mean, we all love a good scratch from time to time.